All right, so I want to start this video with a little song written by AI. Yep, I forget what app I used. I'd have to go look at it, but it's Suno AI or AI something. It was a freebie download. So, all right, enjoy.
Here we go, welcome to the show. It's a journey life, yo, you already know. We taking tips, making flips, getting lit, dropping knowledge and wisdom, gonna make you uplift. This is the journey life, no need to stress. We'll guide you through the ups and the downs, yo. Let's sit back, relax, let the rhythm flow. We on that hip hop ride, let's go, yeah.
All right, so that's pretty funny to me. I really like it. There's another one that kept cutting out on me, but they just generates the words and the beat and everything like that. So, all right, so this is me. I'm coming up here in a minute. Of course, this is me. Uh, Les Heron with the Journey Life. So I'm gonna have kind of go through. I wrote an article, and I'm gonna like talk about that article as part of this video podcast. All right, God bless you. See you in about 1 second. Bye. Hi, I'm glad you're here. This is going to be on YouTube. This is my article I wrote for Substack. You can find me at lheron.substack.com. This is less about adults playing, and it comes from an Albert Einstein quote that said, "Play is the highest form of research." And I add, we almost always apply it to children and not to adults, and we should apply it to adults. When is the last time you played? First, what is play? Playing refers to engaging in activities for enjoyment, recreation, or leisure. It often involves games and sports or other forms of entertainment that are not necessarily goal oriented or productive, but are undertaken for fun, relaxation, and personal fulfillment. Playing can include, but is not limited to, physical activities like sports or outdoor games, creative things like drawing, painting, or playing an instrument, social activities where we interact with others through games and or group activities, and mental activities such as puzzles, video games, or board games that challenge the mind. Now, playing is just as important for adults as it is for children. When us adults incorporate play into our lives, we will be much happier and healthier, as well as much more fun to be around when around those young ones. If you want to know more about who you are and who God is, then you might want to start to play, because it somehow triggers that child in you, that child of God that you are, and it's an eye-opening thing to do. So again, play is the highest form of research. And now adults that play, the play I'm talking about is that healthy play. It's not the play most adults are currently engaging in. It's like 4 to 7 hours of a habitual, unintentional imitation play. And by imitation play, I mean watching TV, reading trashy novels, or just novels, even Christian novels, maybe especially Christian novels, that have not much content, that aren't like challenging, because play, by the way, is challenging. This imitation play is scrolling social media and or playing mind-numbing games on our phones. That is not healthy play. We know that for our kids, okay? We want our kids to be outside. Well, a lot of us don't, but that's what we're told is right, and that's what we kind of intuitively know is healthy. But imitation play is similar to pornography. Why? Because it's superficial, it is one dimensional, it feels good for a fleeting moment, but it produces nothing of value, and it is highly addictive. So I wrote down 4 things that healthy adult play might look like. It's kind of connected to the definition I just said about what playing can include. But the first thing we can do as adults is we can decide that it is play, and that it is anything that we want it to be. Working out at the gym, not because I have to, it's my job, I want to be healthy, but because I've decided to make a game of it. I've decided to play going to the gym, and I want to enjoy it and have fun while I'm doing it. Now, a game where your results are not how much weight you've lost, but possibly how many minutes you've worked out in the week or how much of a 6-week weightlifting program you've completed. I was talking to someone a few months ago, and they saved all of their favorite shows for the treadmill. And that was really interesting. They were looking forward to going to the gym, getting on the treadmill or the bike or the elliptical for almost an hour for a few months in a row, just so they could watch their shows, because they made a commitment. They made a rule in their game. So you create the game. You decide what a win or a loss is. And you could make win-win situations, of course, but you win just by participating. Hard work can be play. You choose if your hard work is play. Just ask the marathon runner or the amazing gardener who always seems to have beautiful, fresh flowers, or the volunteer at a food center with a smile on their face as they're serving the least of these. So what work will you decide is play? What work will you choose to be play? Just one thing you've thought is a struggle, one thing you've not enjoyed, one thing you can turn into play. And then write some rules, decide to play it for a season, reevaluate, maybe rewrite the rules, and play again. And don't quit. Don't stop just because you lose, just because it feels like you lose, because in playing, you're winning. Second thing is to pick a simple hobby. Now, I have 3 juggling balls on my desk. Oh, they're underneath a journal here. I only have 2 out right now because I totally failed at these are, yeah, there you go. You can actually see them. They're disappearing, juggling balls. I failed at learning how to juggle. I took probably 6 weeks. I watched some juggling videos. I sit there and you try to throw up one to, while you're there and you're throwing it up. Well, you know what? I can't do it. I still do it, but yeah, I have to be scooted back some. But I did that. Then you do one, then you do 2, and I just kept dropping 3 for weeks at a time. And I gave up on it, but I did commit to playing the game, and I still pull them out like I have them here. I'll squeeze them. They're a little bit fake leather, I think. And I throw them up and down. I throw them from hand to hand. I stand up and I throw them up and try to throw it up and catch it, see how consistent I can be without actually looking at it directly, but with my peripheral vision. And so the benefit was I played. It cost me about $6 for these 3 things off of Amazon. Now, I sit at this desk right here a lot. I like being right here. I finally have I've had like offices in churches and private parochial schools and things like that. I love having a home office. I like having it set up where I can just come in here and say something or write something or research something. So I'm here a lot. I sit here a lot. This is where I coach. This is where I write. This is where I podcast. This is where I do those things. So I like having something physical to play. Maybe when your watch goes off type thing, I sit up and I do squats. I stretch. I might walk around. If it's not too hot, we have like a 5-minute walk around here. I can just walk around this area out here and play. Just pick a simple hobby, commit to it, write some rules for it, how long you're going to play it, what you want to get from it or what you want to do in it. Just decide it's a win, even if you lose. Now, here's what's interesting is hobbies 100 years ago were woodworking, letter writing, whittling, silver making, things like that, things that you would have to increase your skill and all things that also produced something. Now, what we have now is video games or TV. Again, that kind of a hobby. That's not the hobby that's beneficial. That's not a hobby. It's play, but it's actually play that's detrimental. You would want your 5-year-old to be out playing, but you wouldn't want your 5-year-old juggling knives, right? That would be detrimental play. And you wouldn't want your 5-year-old learning how to smoke. Okay, that could be a hobby. That would take up a lot of time. And you could teach them how to roll cigarettes or tamp a pipe down or something like that, or really clip a good cigar well and get those smoking. But it'd be detrimental. It won't kill them right away, won't hurt them right away, but over time, it's detrimental. That's what TV watching and playing games on our phone are, or young men and women playing hours a day of video games. So I've now I've tried my hand at a lot of hobbies. So I've gone through some of this stuff. I've tried my hand at knife throwing. I didn't really like do enough of that, although I do have a target. I do have the knives. I need to get those back out. What happens, it either gets way too hot in my backyard, and then we got dogs right after I got the target, made a target, and the dogs are always out there, and I don't want my knives never have stuck, so they always talk, boop, they always fall down. So I've always wanted to not kill a dog. But I did candle making, which I still do. I was curing huge slabs of bacon. I mean, really big things of bacon, and learning how to cure it, cut it, cook it, give it away. I bought martini glasses and a shaker to make great martinis. Gardening, I still do gardening. Chess, last year I played chess every day for over 365 days on my phone. I increased my score. I thought I was okay, like for 40 years ago or more. That would be about 50 years ago now. Holy smokes. And so the chess was a lot of fun. Brought to you by Bum Energy Drink. It's got cognizant. It's about 100 milligrams of caffeine, a little bit of cognizine for my brain. This is from like noon. I usually don't drink it after 1 o'clock. I started it after lunch about 12:30, but I have some little bit left over here I'm drinking. Really not sponsored by Bum Energy Drink, by the way. You know what? Oh, well. So, and then I tried, of course, the above mentioned juggling that was unsuccessful. And one thing I've been doing for 5, 6, 7 years is creating some complex, simple syrups for amazing old fashions with different things at Christmas and at Thanksgiving. And that's been a lot of fun. So what hobby will you play with? What hobby will you commit to and play? And then something else you can do is just pick one thing to play. Pick one thing to play. Now, a lot of people have one thing to play. They're always scrolling Instagram. They're always scrolling Facebook. They're always, playing tossing donkeys or angry chickens that just numb the mind. They're not good for you. I mean something strategic like actual Words with Friends, and you play with friends and you build you intentionally build a relationship out there with some people. Chess or checkers or a mahjong, which I haven't played yet, but those are things that are going to help you and engage you, and it's going to move you forward into I didn't know this and now I know this. There's history games, there's different things you can play. So pick one thing. Maybe it's a ukulele. I tried a ukulele. My fingers, I've got arthritis in these fingers. You can kind of tell. And so that didn't work out well. I've actually still have that on one of my doors back here. And so pick one thing, commit to it for 3 months, then assess it, evaluate it, strategize again what you want to do with it, then commit to it again or choose something else. And you'll find that. And for your own benefit, please stop playing mind-numbing games on your phone. Why? Because it is disassociating you from the people around you, from yourself, and from the God who loves you. It numbs your mind for the moment, and the numbness often stays with us. We are literally addicted to these little tiny devices. What will you commit to play that will be healthy and help you be happier and will not be addictive? Now, this last one about what a healthy adult play might look like, this one can get a little bit weird, I must confess, but it's something I do is I treat often social situations as play, not as how will this be fun, who can I make fun of, what games can I do, but how can I socially fit in well in a situation and be better than I was the last time I was in that same situation. It is something I have had to do for decades because I was a very extremely quiet child. I didn't talk a lot. I've written some about that and talked some about that. I struggled with a socialization. I struggled with communicating. The Lord helped me a lot when I got saved and spirit filled with speaking in tongues at 13. And then again, I was saved 100 times before 13, but 13 was my I'm an adult sort of thing moment. And really made a huge difference. And I started having to figure out if I'm going to love people, I have to speak to people. That sounds obvious now, but it wasn't back then. I would read scripture and it'd be like, okay, loving people, that's the thing, that's a deal. So if play doesn't need a reward or a conclusion, but simply satisfaction while I'm doing it, then I ask myself, what can I do in this social situation that I'm heading to tomorrow or next week that will fulfill me, that will be enjoyable to me. And I find this really works when attending church or religious activities. Actually, that's what I mostly have attended for my job. But as an employee of church and or private parochial schools, I found many, if not most meetings to be boring, boring, boring. I say that like holy, holy, holy. They were boring, 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 and completely unnecessary. So I started to imagine what I could do to show up as my best me, as my best self. I know people hate that phrase. It's a great phrase. I want to be my best self. I want you to be your best self. I think it's honoring of God's design of us for us to live into that and to pursue that and to go, what is my best self? And so I've shown up to just yesterday. Yesterday, I showed up with a word for someone. That's a whole nother story. I've done that regularly. I've shared dreams I've had of people, and I have a process for sharing dreams and things like that I think are from God. But I show up with spiritual words of encouragement. I've showed up maybe 5 or 6 times every year for the last 3 years since I've not been pastoring from behind a pulpit or from a pulpit, a regular church. I have shown up 5 or 6 times or more with gift card, a check, big or small, and just gone with my heart and my hands wide open to be a blessing. And it makes these meetings for me a win-win situation. So if the meetings aren't good, I win. I'm playing the game. I mean, I have a system of note taking when I'm in meetings that I'm not going to share right now, but it's super helpful for me. I come home and I've gotten something out of that meeting. Even if I didn't disagree with the person, I don't sit and write down everything I disagree with. I do write some of it down, but I have God's stuff for me, and it's a social situation. It's play. I have chosen to treat social situations as play. And what's interesting is I started coming away from some of these social interactions that were should have been negative or were negative towards me in some bad situations I've been in ministry. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't even think about how awful it might have been or could have been. And I was like, oh my gosh, did I really respond in such a clear yet kind way? Was that me talking? And I had so much peace. I just reclined in the presence of my enemy, just sitting back, just listening to them and not having to control them or not having to me win over them. And it was play. It's play. And there's something about that that's super powerful. So how will you, if you choose this as one of your 4, as one of the 4, how will you make social situations play? And where you win, you might be the only one playing, but how much more fun is it that you're going to play something than you're going to be part of something that you don't like, but your spouse wants to go, or that's where you go. You feel like God's called you there. Instead of sitting and complaining or judging, start playing in that situation. I'm going to read Matthew 18:3. It's familiar to you, so I'm using the Passion Translation. It's probably familiar to you. It says, "Learn this well. Unless you dramatically change your way of thinking and become teachable like a little child, you will never be able to enter in." And I know there's no play in that. I know that, but a little child is teachable. They love play. They get a lot from play, all right? If you don't believe the Bible, believe Einstein. All right, so in conclusion, play is healthy, addiction is unhealthy. Play is fun, entertaining, and sets our mind free in so many ways. Addiction is boring, makes us bored, makes us boring, and imprisons our minds, and eventually imprisons our bodies. Play is an attitude, a mindset, a choice that we can make, we must make if we want to go forward joyfully. And addiction can be all of the above for a short season. It can be entertaining and fun and seem to set your mind free, but it's sin, Proverbs says, is fun for a season. Sometimes more than a month, a couple of years maybe sin can be fun, but addiction quickly becomes a hiding place and a force that defeats the very person we hope to be, all right? So get out there and start to play for no reason other than it's a brilliant research into who you are and who God is. And two things that are in the actual article are a video from about 10 years ago of my daughter playing the game Cups, and she practiced until she could do it really well and very fast. It was a lot of hard work and it took up her time, but it was definitely play. I've seen that with kids over and over and over again. They're going to work and work and work to play or to learn something. And the kids that give up, oh, it's so sad, isn't it? It's like, oh, I didn't get it. I can't do it as good as everybody else, so I'm not going to do it. That's not an attitude of play, all right? And then if you're interested also in this article is if you're interested in being happier, healthier, and more whole, then read. I attached an article on how you can be happier in the next 10 minutes that I posted a few months ago on my Substack. My Substack is lherron, HERRON.substack.com. I would love for you to get on there and follow me. All right. God bless you. Have a great day.
Here we go, welcome to the show. It's a journey life, yo, you already know. We taking flips, making flips, getting lit, dropping knowledge and wisdom, gonna make you uplift. This is the journey life, no need to stress. We'll guide you through the ups and the downs, yo. Let's sit back, relax, let the rhythm flow. We on that hip hop ride, let's go, yeah.